Hi Wonder Class and welcome to our first lesson of the week in English on Monday the 1st of February 2021. So what are we learning about today? Our learning objective is, can I box up the ideas that I have collected about Mrs Bowen and use them in my innovation? So let's have a think. On Friday's lesson, you watched an interview between Mrs Van Huffel and Mrs Bowen, and Mrs Van Huffel was asking questions to Mrs Bowen all about her life in order to help write a non-chronological report about her. So let's find out a little bit more. So hopefully you would have collected information from the previous lesson on Friday. I'm going to reveal a spider diagram to you that I have created in order to help you find out more of the information about Mrs Bowen in a logical sense. So here we have a spider diagram with the subheadings all about Mrs Bowen. So let's have a read. I'm going to read each part to you. So if we look at Mrs Bowen's early life, so she grew up in Langley. She went to Holy Family in Langley and then St Joseph's in Wexham. She had a very strict head teacher who always wanted them to do their very best. Her first interest when she went to a secondary school, she got very interested in computing. Her parents always told her to be the best that she can be. So her father was into computers and she decided to be like him. She went to university and got a degree in business computer systems. She worked in an office and she did not like it. Then she decided she wanted to make a difference and help people. So becoming a teacher, she went back and trained to be a teacher, studied to be a teacher, thought that if she didn't like teaching, she would have a backup plan and write computer programs for children. Teachers who inspired her, so there was a teacher called Mr. Brown, that helped her with her trigonometry and helped her pass her work in college. She had lots of teachers through college that helped and supported her, including a teacher called Mrs. Coffee. Things that Mrs. Bowen likes to do for fun, watching TV with her family. She can roller skate. She likes going out for dinner with her friends and eating. She likes relaxing in her living room. Something about being a head teacher. If you are a teacher, you can become a head teacher. It's always about having dreams and moving forward. She started as a teacher in year 4, and so she progressed and had over 20 years experience for understanding how children learn and things like that. The favourite thing about being a head teacher for Mrs Bowen is the school family and the supportive environment. Starting the school up from the bottom up gets to know all of the children, and having built a community, and the best community is the one that she is proud of in Slough. Qualities of a good teacher. So Mrs Bowen said to have good qualities to be a teacher, you have to have ideas, you have to be a good listener to many different people, you have to be a kind person and accept you have to make good choices, and you have to just be humble. So these are the things that came from the interview all with Mrs Bowen. So what we're going to do with that information is now we're going to innovate our text map. So we're going to try now and we're going to use this information in this innovation. So introduction. So what could we do with this information to then put it into our box up? So let's have a look at our subheadings. We've got her first interest, becoming a teacher who inspired her, being a head teacher, things to do for fun and early life. So the first thing I would probably start with in my introduction would be some information on Mrs Bowen. So here it says, rhetorical question, introduction to what the chronological report is about. Read on to find more in past tense. So here I would have an introduction. I would have an introduction on Mrs Bowen. Why a sentence to find out more information you will need to read on, because this is an introduction to allow people to want to read on. Okay, so paragraph 1, what would I write in paragraph 1? In paragraph 1, referring back to the spider diagram, I would probably start with early life to understand where Mrs Bowen grew up. So this paragraph would be called early life. Just going to make that a little bit smaller, so early life. And in this paragraph, it would talk about, oh, sorry guys, it would talk about where Mrs. Bowen grew up. Then in the next paragraph, I would probably talk about, in my opinion, her first interests. So these are things that began to make the person in front of us. So first interest would be paragraph 3. Now, remember, chronological reports don't have to have an order. So the order I'm choosing to write my paragraphs in doesn't necessarily have to work for you. So first interest would be subheading. I'm not going to give you all the information because this is going to be one of your activities. So first interest would be my subheading. Let's go and have a look at paragraph 3. Sorry, I was saying paragraph 3 already. We was on paragraph 2. So let's have a look at paragraph 3. What would I include here? I would put interest and hobbies. So what the aim of the lesson for you is to be able to do this. So I'm going to read the 3 tasks to you and then just go back to this to explain. So the 3 activities for today's English lesson are: number 1, to box up the information collected about Mrs. Bowen. Number 2 is to draw a picture of Mrs. Bowen that can be included in your non-chronological report. And number 3 is to create a checklist that can be used when you are writing a non-chronological report. So things that you need to think, oh, I need to remember this, this, and this to make sure my chronological report makes sense. So let's have a look back. The aim of what you're going to do is create a box up. So using a template similar to this, you can write it out. You could have your introduction and the information that you're going to put. Paragraph 1 and what the subheading is going to be. Paragraph 2, what's the subheading going to be? What information are you going to include? Remember, when you're making a plan, you're not writing all the information in, you're just giving bullet points to remind you of what things you're going to need to refer back to write in. So have a go at making a plan. Remember not to write full sentences in your plan because you're going to need to extract the information into making sentences, which will then lead into your paragraphs. So I hope that is okay for everybody. What I might do is, if I take a picture of this and post it onto our Teams chat, which will also be helpful so you can all see it much more clearer if it's as a Word document. So I will do all of those things for you and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye everyone.